Welcome back to this week's episode of the Corde Snell Show. I'm the guy, I'm the host. I'm Corde Snell. What's up, everybody? How we doing out there? Y'all good? Y'all good? What up, Jared?
Chillin'. How's it going?
Good. And you? How about you, Noah?
I'm doing good. How about you, Corde?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm chilling. We was talking about it right before we started. We was talking about social media, right? And I was sharing with the guys that like about a year ago, like in June, I remember I posted a video that eventually hit a million views. And I was super dope. It was super juice. But I remember looking back at that time at I only had 5,400 followers, right? And I was pissed because I think I gained about 600 from it. So I was like around 4,800, gained 600. And then recently I told them that I have started posting some other clips and they started going like real viral. Like I'm doing pretty good right now. But then at the time when it went viral, I only had 5,700 followers. So it went from 5,400 to 5,700. It was crazy. I was getting super frustrated because like I was really just trying to keep like building like more content, keep doing like quality stuff. And a lot of times when you like really editing and trying to like do better and wants to like do greater and it's just falling short, like becomes really frustrated. Like I thought like my Instagram was messed up. I remember I was getting shadow banned constantly because I had to figure out different ways like how not to get shadow banned and how to get off that. And it was like just really annoying. So like now that things are going actually well, I'm super happy about it. I'm super chill. But also we were sharing other stuff like sometimes when like cause I have clips going viral, right? I have one sitting at like 900,000, another one at 400,000, another one at like 500,000, right? But sometimes I will always get frustrated with my friends, especially because most of the time comedians see other stand-up clips. Most other comedians, especially if you know them, they see them clips first because they are our friends. And I always hate when family members or friends share somebody I know stand-up clip with me. Not because I'm a hater. It's just I'm like, hey, do you ever like share my shit? Because I never see it on your story. Like I never see y'all just randomly in the group chat like, oh, hey, I saw this clip. This was funny. Keep doing it. Like I never see that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, yo, we was talking about Pacific comedian, Pacifically whose stuff is blown up right now. I think one of his clips just hit 1 million. And I saw another one of his clips is at 2.3 million. And then like he has like it, but it takes that like 2 clips hit 1 million. It usually makes your Instagram like really grow. But then he has other stuff that has like 300K, another guy 500K and things like that. So you need like those viral videos to really push your Instagram page to make it really go like viral, make it really go like because the key for all social media or like especially like for comedians I think especially is that when you get to 10K is when Instagram starts saying, hey, we will pay you per reel. Now you can get like money making off of the reels you post. And now you can get like, you get subscribers. Like I finally got a subscriber button. But then because I don't have like a huge following or I'm not hit the 10K, I don't get paid per reel. So what we call that is like passive income where like we use it like making trips, stuff like that. Now instead of taking a loss every time you might go out of state, go out of town or like take this long trip, now you might get a clip from it, and then when you post it, if it does well, now you're getting money, you're getting residuals for it. So really, real talk, I just want to get to 10K as a start. I want to get way more than that, but a start of getting at 10K will really benefit me and really help me. Speaking of which, Jerry, you know how much I love my sister, love her to death, and you know we just have the best relationship. We always get into arguments and we always get into fights because we do this podcast right here. And she was like, why don't you have any sponsors? You should have sponsors. Like this, it's not that hard to get a sponsor. Like my friend, she has sponsors and stuff like that, and she doesn't have that many followers. And I hate it because my sister always thinks that I don't know how hard it is to get subscribers, or she just thinks that I don't know what I'm doing at all times, and she never hears me out or hears me explain anything. She's like, no, my friend only has 2,000 followers, but like she has like a ton of people who buy like merchandise from her, a ton of people who come like this. And then one time she called her friend, it was on the phone, and she's like, how many followers do you have on your current page? She's like, I don't know, like 2,500. She's like, see, you have like almost 6,000. You should be doing a lot more than that. It's like, well, my other page had like 30,000 followers on it. And I was like, see what the fuck I'm talking about? I was like, you're not even listening. You're not even listening to me right now. I was like, she had a page that had a huge following before. Sometimes people lose their pages for whatever reason, right? Now she has a different page that she's trying to regrow the following there. And plus she already had like some kind of substantial following. She already had people who was like buying stuff from her. She already had that kind of engagement. I was like, right now, I don't have that same engagement. And I've talked to people who work in social media. I've talked to other comedians. I've watched stuff on Instagram, like, oh, you're a content creator. Here's some tips. Here's like other stuff. And like all the people who tell me, especially when you're a comedian, stuff really don't start opening until you hit the 10K mark, because then that's when you get paid for stuff. Then that's when you start people think your engagement is high. They look at your numbers, stuff like your insights and things like that. When you hit the 10K mark, people really start paying attention to you, unless you're a person who's been in the game super long, but you're just not big on social media, right? So where you might have talk about engagement, right? Where you might have online store that people constantly are going to, right? Let's say if I have 7,000 followers, but five of those 7,000 are local or close to me, and they love my merch and they're buying merch from me that kind of way, right? That was one time what the social media lady said. She was like, sometimes, I think it was 2016, 2017. She's like, it's not always about the followers sometime, and this is before Instagram. When it was hard, 100K was $1 million back in the day. It was one of those days where she said engagement is better than just having numbers, because this is the time when people was finding out that people was paying for followers. That's when that thing started happening. And she was like, I know a lady who only has 1,200, like my sister said, right? She's like, but 900 people are closely woven into her thing. But she was it's she has a very niche audience. She was an older lady who sells stuff for cats. So people love her cat stuff. So people will engage with that, right? She's like, so if you have engagement like that, we have a store, and people are constantly buying from your store and stuff like that, then it's really more of engagement. But she said she found her little niche with little things like that. And I was like, what about comedians? What about artists? She's like, for y'all, it's harder because y'all have to have some kind of following. Usually you want to be in the double digits, the 10K kind of a thing, because people let's say comedy clubs, managers, investors, all the kind of things won't see you as really having a kind of a presence because you're not in big numbers, versus a lady who's just selling stuff to cats. The algorithm will strictly put people who are into cat stuff in her direction. But with you're looking out more to filling a room, filling a place, feeling if you're a magician, feeling some kind of Coliseum or something like that, or ballroom, some club or stuff like that. So you have to prove that you actually bring people in. So it's way different from that standpoint.
Yeah, no one has to know who the cat lady is to want her cat lady stuff.
Exactly. But let's say if that cat lady was having an event somewhere at a Petco, then people got to know. And then now she's going out to Petco saying hey, I have this let's say I have 3,000 followers. I think it'd be really dope, but we have an event here. And then nah. Or what they'll probably do, let's say if they trying to have an event, schedule it and then try to rent out the place and see if people come out. And then if she actually has something like that where people are coming out because people are near, then it'll be working in success. But then most of the time for that kind of situation, they'll probably be okay, well, how long is this going to be? We could probably give you an hour or two, but let's say she wants 3 to 4 hours, something like that. Then she might have to put a down payment for a rental space in the area, or have the special event. Got to throw up flyers and things like that. And they have to make it proof that she's worth the time of us being here. Because these things, if you have an event, sometimes places we're losing money because people don't want to come in to this random ass event or something like that. Oh, it's a private event, or it seemed like that. So it's way more different. So yeah.
Yeah, there's direct products with her business.
Yeah.
It's almost in economic terms, you're providing a service because your presence is the thing.
Yeah.
You sell t-shirts, you have merch, but it's no one will wear it unless they like the service.
Exactly. And then also it's kind of a thing too where it's
they are nice shirts. I don't want to say it's
appreciate
that.
it. There you go. Now I get what you're saying. Yeah. Because what you're saying is I have to perform and I have to please these people in order to sell the merch kind of thing, because if people see the merch, sometimes they might be what the hell does that mean? Or kind of like that, big, beautiful foreheads. It's an insult, but if you hear the joke related to it, be oh, okay, I like that. Or my saying, Corde made your day, which is actually my Instagram as well, and my TikTok and Snapchat and stuff like that. If you look at so it's kind of one singular thing, they'll be well, what does this mean? And I'm oh, Corde made your day means if I made you laugh, if I made your day overall better, if I improved your day, then I made your day. I made this better in some kind of way. So that's why I used to buy a shirt. And people are oh, okay, cool. I like that saying. But if they don't hear that, they just see a shirt and is wondering what this means, right? And then two, a lot of times if I don't have a show, I can't promote merch a lot of times too. So then that's why I'm trying to set up a online store along with a website, because instead of always having to have a show to move merch, people can just look online, especially it's right. I remember my aunt asked how do I get a shirt, and I was just DM me on Instagram instead of like giving her a link to some website. That's like the next step. So where like, hey, here's the link to my website. Go there, pick the size, and it'll be shipped out to you. Like I think I'm using something called Something Tees real quick. I got to look it up. But I started working on that to kind of have like, hey, click here. This is where my logo and this is where my link is to t-shirts. I have 2 posted right now. And then you can order from this t-shirt company and then they'll send it out to you. And then it takes like a little portion of it. So I think I'm gonna charge like, because usually if it's like you buy it online, I charge 30 because they're gonna charge a percentage for me, but also shipping and handling is factored in too. So then if you like factor that much in, it kind of benefits me. Because I know usually it shows I sell stuff for $25, but I have to ship it to you. I should charge 30. But I think I might have to up that because I've been using UPS, and I know UPS tracks it or sends it in like 2 days, or now it's like 5 days, but it's like $12 each. So then now I'm taking a loss on the t-shirt, so I might have to charge more so they can get it. Or like, and also sometimes I feel like if you charge more, but if it's less in person, they're more like inclined to come to a show. Like, oh, why is it 35? Oh, if I order it, but then it's 25 in person. I'm like, when you come to a show, you get entertainment and you get a shirt. Like, okay, well, I'm start coming to your show. So it's like a little different. But then if they like in Texas, they ain't gonna fly way out here. So yeah, anyway. But that's So that's
need a hawk to a moment.
Hawk
and then
two. I need a hawk two. Spit on that thing. Funny thing about it, I was at a show last night and it was a chick who looked like the Hawk 2 girl. I told a homie to say that. And then like she laughed. It was kind of embarrassed. Her boyfriend next door, he was like, she do that? He was like, yep. And everybody was like, what's going on? I'm like, all right, so now everything is super viral and now everybody gets like every single thing. Cause it's only like 2 weeks since you went viral. So yeah.
I know, and it happened real fast. Yeah. I mean, everyone jumped on that trend immediately.
Exactly.
Barstool had her for an interview.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm just a girl who said something in an interview. I'm not I'm not some celebrity. And then she sang with Zach Bryan, some country star.
Yeah.
Did you hear that she was gonna like have a show?
Well, she's like, yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I did.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's fast.
What was her show gonna be about?
I don't know.
I heard about it. She was like, yeah, I'm working on some shows and stuff like that. She was on Barstool. She's like, I'm going to move. Like, she's talking about moving to LA to kind of really profit off this like 15 seconds of fame kind of a thing. And then they was like, oh, we heard you're a teacher. She's like, I'm not even old enough to be a teacher. I'm only 21. And I'm like, this is how I know this girl ain't that smart, because like, you can become a teacher at 21. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're not, if you were 18, that makes sense, but you're 21. So you can become a teacher. I was like, you just study education in your undergrad, and you could like, I was like, she don't even know what the hell she's talking about.
It is crazy how people are getting so famous off of these viral moments.
Yeah.
Though. Like,
yeah. And then that's what it takes though. You become famous off like a viral moment. The funny thing about it, we don't even know her name.
She made a sound.
Yeah. Hot 2.
She made a fucking sound.
Spit on that thing. That's what it's funny, because you can start becoming more famous from doing something and people actually know your name, right? Like, why is this chick, like, who's it? Like, especially to say if older person don't know who this chick is, and like she having like a meet and greet, people will sign and stuff, like who is that? Like, oh, that's like the Hawk 2 girl. Nobody knows her name. Nobody knows her first name or her last name. That's just Hawk 2 girl. But you can sell merch. I think she has t-shirts, Hawk 2 and shit like that. Quick way to sell out, probably sell out shit like that. And it's funny, dudes are really pushing her up because it's like something that she's doing that dudes really like.
Oh yeah, it's a total pick-me move.
Yeah.
Haley Welch is her name.
Haley Welch. Didn't even know that.
The Hawk Tour girl.
Hawk Tour
USA Today did an article.
Yeah.
Who is the Hawk Tour girl? Meet Haley Welch and her take on going viral.
Yeah. So
incredible.
But you got to profit off of your 15 minutes of fame or 15 seconds of fame. And funny thing about it, some people are still riding their 15 minutes of fame. Like, to me, the person who's riding their 15 minutes of fame still is Kevin Hart. Like,
what?
No, but hear me out though. Hear me out.
I don't necessarily disagree. I'm just like, what?
Well, like, I don't want to say
15
15 minutes of fame, because I want to say, like, because I remember I've watched the Kevin Hart journey. Like, Soul Plane was supposed to be his big like moment, right? Or 15 minutes of fame. You know, like how you have like this moment.
I'm a Cat Williams stan. I'm so for this right now.
Well, Corde, you didn't know that he was out there in the business. Like,
whoever come to LA see a sold out show for Kevin Hart.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So, right. So, because people always say Kevin Hart wore a dress and that's what blew him up, right? I remember Lil Rel was talking about that. That's not what happened. Like in 2001 or 2002, right? Kevin Hart was like the main star of the movie Soul Plane. It did do well with Test On and something like that, but it got leaked and then it made like no money at the box office. I think it made $30 million, which ain't a lot. like for like a movie like that, especially the all-star cast. But it got released and like pushed back like a year and a half. And everybody had like copies of it, right? I don't want to say 15 seconds of fame, but more like 15 minutes. 'Cause I remember I started seeing him like after that movie flopped. He was in Scary Movie 3. And then like people kept talking about like how he had to build himself up to be a leading man again, right? And so he was in like 40-Year-Old Virgin, 50 First Dates, or like a bunch of like just random like little pop-ins, little like funny scenes. Like to me, the 40-Year-Old Virgin scene when he's at Price Smart or something like that, which is like a Circuit City, which is now a discontinued thing and stuff like that. And he's like, hey, don't be a dude, be my, say the N-word, stuff like that. I don't want to say it right now, but he's like, you somebody, fuck it, you somebody's nigga with this nigga tie. Like, he's like,
I don't feel like saying it right now.
Yeah. Because it doesn't make sense. I mean, I don't like to say it around white people. That's what I'm basically saying.
Like something what Theo Vaughn would say. I don't like saying it right now.
Yeah. Oh shit. But like that viral moment or stuff, that thing would like that would be like if that little clip from that movie made him famous. But then he still was like other stuff. Like I remember because at the time, I remember when I was like really like studying comedy and really like watching all these different people before like Kevin Hart really blew up. And I only want to say like 15 seconds of fame or 15 minutes of fame. Like I started noticing Aries Spears really started to blow up. Like I remember he did the first Shaq All Stars, right? That was a big moment because it was the first time Shaq had Shaq All Stars, and it was D. Ray Davis, Tommy Davidson, Kevin Hart, and then Aries Spears closed it out. And Aries Spears kind of blew up off that, but then also Kevin Hart started bubbling as well. And right before that, he had did Def Jam, and then that got released on like YouTube or stuff like that, as YouTube was starting to like become better and things like that, right? And then after that, HBO greenlit Aries Spears stand-up special immediately right after that, and it was like HBO and stuff like that. Kevin Hart, I didn't know, I think recorded a special right around that same time. It was called Grown Little Man, right? And then Aries Spears was still working. No, Kevin Hart recorded a special like a few years later. I think it was like 2009 or something like that, right? Aries Spears got his in like 2008, kind of things like that. But Aries Spears, I always heard, was like kind of terrible behind the scenes. And I'm not afraid to say it because Aries Spears don't bring black people on his shows, or he don't like put black comedians, because he always say, this is his cop-out, I don't want us to talk about the same stuff, or like you talk about black and white, I'll talk about black and white, and now the crowd is tired about black and white material, which don't even make sense, because if that was the same topic, right, or if that was the same thing, then the Kings of Comedy couldn't happen, or like Def Jam couldn't happen. All these black shows where they had Comic View couldn't happen. We have all this black people doing these black material, stuff like that. It would never be successful if that was really the case and people didn't like it, right? He just says that to kind of just, as I've heard, bring on trash ass comedians who come up there, do whatever, and then he comes up and it makes him look better because he's always performing with like trash comedians. And I'm not afraid to say it too, because Aries Spears really don't help black people like that, especially. And then also he slapped a homie of mine, or a mutual friend of mine, in a comedy game because he was black and he did super well on the show. So he slapped him because he had to follow a comedian doing hella well.
Like literally slapped him?
He literally slapped him. So yeah. So I'll say his name. So he's well, I won't say his name, but he comedians now who's popping up doing super well. He was on a few episodes of The Office and things like that. Aries Spears literally slapped him because
I think I know who this is.
Yeah. So he literally slapped him because he was doing too well. Because most of the time he books trash people, right? I'll share another story from back in the day. It was 2014, 2015. My homie Brian Moore, not the one who based out of San Jose right now. It's a black dude. He used to go by B-Mo too, which is hella funny because Brian Moore, shout out to you, out of San Jose. Same name, same nickname too. So it was like super funny. He told me that he got booked to feature at Tommy T's years ago. I think it was 2014, 2015, right? Maybe in 2013. Because I remember we was talking about this when Jay Farrell like blew up and stuff like that, right? He was there and he said, I hosted a feature for Aries Spears. He was like, this man bumped me to host because he didn't want me to feature, right? But also at the same time, he found out that I was featuring on the show. He yelled and cussed out his agent for like 40 minutes or something like that after that, right? And so he said that happened, And then not only that, what else? He said, I think he said it was 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday, and I think 2 shows on maybe 1 show on Sunday, and I think it was a Thursday show too. Brian told us, he said he couldn't do the Thursday show. He didn't let him do the Friday shows. He didn't let him do the Saturday shows, but he let him host, and he cut his time down. I think he did 5 minutes. He's supposed to do like 10 to 15. Cut his time down and let him host for the Sunday show. Brian said it was cool, whatever. He was pissed because he still got paid. The club apologized because of what happened, right? And he was saying, Aries Spears is an asshole for that. He's like, because I'm an up-and-coming comic at my home club trying to do well, trying to grow, and then you like stunning me from growing. Like, for what? And then he said, like, he was also Aries Spears' ride back to the hotel he was staying at. And he's like, in every show, it seemed like Aries would hang out super long because he was on the show, making it be, bad, or make him like try to like leave. He's like, man, because basically like I'm gonna make it super hard on you, so eventually be like, I don't want to do the weekend, I'm gonna dip, and I'm like, they're gonna bring another host in and stuff like that. He said he stayed the whole time because he knew what he was doing and figured out what he was doing, and people told him that it was gonna be like hard like that because he doesn't like black comedians on his same show. And I'm just like, and it sucks because Aries Spears is a guy who doesn't understand why he's not big in Hollywood. He like has kind of like a hater, like old hater like mentality, because like I should be bigger. Oh, these people ain't funny and stuff like that. He was talking about Key and Peele, which later came back to haunt him and things like that, because he was saying like all these guys like they just like to date white women. He's like they ain't really black, they ain't really brothers, stuff like that. And then he went to like a audition, and Key or Peele was right. Jordan Peele was right there, like being a dude who he had to audition with, and he was an executive producer and probably producing the show. So he said, I didn't get it. He was like, well, maybe I'll stick my foot in my mouth. I'm like, yeah, dude, you can't complain about not being bigger than what you are and then like talk bad about every single person and burning bridges. And that's what I found out later. The reason why he really didn't pop was 2 things. I think Neil Brennan said this on the Champs podcast, and I saw Neil in LA. They funny as hell. He said sometimes you don't always have the best attitude, right? For Aries Spears. He's also, you gotta lose weight. He's like, but why can't be a leader man as a big dude? He was like, big dudes aren't sexy, Aries. But I think Neil gave him like a realistic thing. He was like, he said, work on some dermatology, because I remember like Aries Spears had like black rings around his eyes, stuff like that. He's like, get with a dermatologist, lose 80 pounds, and be nicer to people, and you'll be a star in Hollywood. But Aries like, nah, man, I ain't trying to do all that kind of stuff. Like, I'm from New York, and why can't I be like? And then I'm like, people give me the formula to be successful. Like, damn, like, okay, well, that's what I gotta do. Okay, I'll make appointments immediately. I know it won't be like happen overnight. It won't, like, you can't lose like 80 pounds overnight. If you do, you probably get
British actors kill themselves over and over again for roles, dude.
Yeah, all the time.
Gain 20 pounds, lose 60 pounds.
Me and my brothers. That's the one thing. Me and shout out to Anye Malik. Me and him always go live on Instagram, and we'll be talking about black British actors who always steal hell from rum, like Desmond Idris. He's like, you ever see him? He's like, yeah, me, my bro. So we like a little coffee. Or Idris Elba, he was like, just want some beans, and stuff. So he was like, we need to start going to Europe and start stealing European roles, and we got to work on our British accents now to go over there. He's like, or let's start having fake British accents, and we'll get more calls. And then all of a sudden, when lady was like, now try it. It's like, yeah, okay, that's really good. Can you try American accent? He was like, all right, what's cracking, B? Like, how the fuck you doing shit like that? All right, B, like, what the fuck? You trying to go hard right now? What the fuck? Like, be a gangster? Like, oh my God, but I apologize. That went too hard. Was that too much? Was that too much right there? Like, oh, I'm sorry. After this, I'm gonna get like a pot of tea. Did you want some tea? Like,
Perfect crime.
Perfect crime. Hell yeah. So yeah. Oh, and then back to Kevin Hart. So as Aries was blowing up, found out he had like burning bridge and stuff like that, right? Meanwhile, Kevin Hart, right, was like still bubbling up, and then I think 2010 recorded his Grown Little Man special, which is dope and funny as hell. And then he recorded his Seriously Funny special after being on Shaq All Stars, right? And then the Cavaliers was in the crowd. like Shaq, LeBron, and stuff like that, and he had them dying. So I think Shaq might have helped him like push him forward a little bit more, like in the starlight. But also at the same time, Kevin Hart had went to the Montreal New Faces or Unrepresented or something, like unrepresented, like don't have an agent or something like that. He was there and blew up there, had a great time. I think got a holding deal, casting deal, stuff like that. But people don't see that happening because people really know about Montreal unless you're like in a comedy game. And then as Aries Spears, I started noticing he started to dwindle because he was doing like a few acting stuff, but it was like super hood movies. And I'm like, Aries, you accomplished, dude. You was on Mad TV. Why are you doing these hood ass straight to DVD movies and stuff like that? And then it started to dwindle because he didn't lose the weight. He was still like being like terrible, like behind the scenes like that. And then Kevin Hart just rose up and then blew up. And it seems like it was just like a 15 minutes of fame. And people will say that, oh, it's because he wore a dress. I don't know when he wore a dress. I think he wore it on Saturday
SNL.
Night. SNL? Okay, yeah, I was about to say that. He wore it on SNL. People said, oh, that's how he blew up because he wore a dress on SNL. And I'm just like, especially for me, I don't watch SNL like that. Like, I would love to be on there, but like that's not super big, especially in the black community necessarily. So I'm just like, he's been doing a ton of stuff and laying like a great foundation. And he had Montreal right there too. So you can't say somebody like blew up like right there because let's say Seriously Funny, right? That was like the stand-up special that put him on the map, right? And then a lot of people think like, okay, well, you just gonna have like a few like 15 minutes of fame, like 15 minutes of fame, not 15 seconds, 15 minutes of fame, right? But he capitalized on Seriously Funny. He started getting acting roles, always took it seriously, always was on time, always had great relationships, super hard work ethic, right? After that, he dropped Laugh in My Pain, which was his third special, which was really like the iconic one that made him a star. Because he recorded it in LA. A bunch of stars was in the audience. He was like dressed well. He was like, when he was like that, all right, yeah. My son's spelling the shit out of these words, right? A hella different parts was memorable. Hella parts was like, if it was now, hella stuff would have been clipped up right now. Then he like, I think he was all his stand-up was on Pandora when Pandora was blowing up too. So you constantly heard him, and then he that made him the star to what he was at that point. So they made him like famous when it came to like Hollywood, and really made him a star and really introduced him to Hollywood in that sense as well. And he just kept capitalizing, making great business adventures. He started the LOL network, but also too, another thing what people don't know was that he was constantly putting out stuff on YouTube as well as YouTube started to grow. Like he called it the chocolate dropper thing, right? I remember he would just be doing stupid random stuff. He would do like 15 minutes on like some whatever stuff, but it was so captivating because you would always see him like what is Kevin Hart doing right now?
Proto-influencer stuff.
Hella influencer stuff. I think for like a year, he was just dropping videos on YouTube, and you just kept seeing him and like kept being in your algorithm, kept doing like, oh, this fool's silly. So he became likable. So when you didn't see him on stage or in a movie or start getting movie roles, he was always available on YouTube. So he was always constantly present and constantly seen. And then he grew up following with that with Chocolate Dropper page. And then after that, being a great businessman, never being flaking, never dropping out of stuff. And so now he grew into this mogul now. So it's kind of where I'm trying to say he captured that opportunity or that 15 minutes of fame. What they always say, like sometimes people just have 15 minutes of fame. It was like, remember this person? Yeah. And then they don't do nothing with it. Kevin Hart was I think he was, so like if you go back to Soul Plane, that was supposed to be 15 minutes of fame, but nothing came out of it. So it seemed like he worked super hard to get his ass back up to that same level. When he called it the second time, he took that and ran with it. Got on a network, touring all around the country. I mean, the world, has his own network, is doing movies, all kind of stuff. He created himself as a business, like a real businessman, sold out Madison Square Garden, hella times and things like that. So he had that 15 minutes of fame for the second time, but really kept it playing with it and also realized what it would take to keep it. And probably didn't know to realize, but always had a plan for where it's going to go.
It sounds like even though he was busting his ass way before that, you still need, especially nowadays, you need that lucky break.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
thing to like really take you to the next level. Yeah. As you were talking about that, I don't know how much you were familiar with Dane Cook back in the early 2000s.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that like a lot of what got his material so big was people used to do animations of Halo to his stand-up.
Really?
They would like act out in the game. So you could put a camera while you're playing multiplayer with your friends. Yeah. And that bit he has about the weird weird guy at work that's gonna shoot everybody.
Oh, yeah.
So they're all regular human Halo people, and the weird guy was the alien.
Yeah.
And so he's walking around to the audio,
Yeah.
and he walks next to him. Thanks for the candy.
Yeah.
And like moves on, and I was like, I forgot how much that was like a part of why I knew who Dane Cook was.
That's funny because they remake stuff and do it like that with the Halo game. But Dane Cook got famous because he was on MySpace hella huge. I think they said he had like 500,000 friends on MySpace, and I'm like, you can do that? You can like, and a lot of people. So he was getting into social media before it was like named and called social media, because what somebody told me was that he got into MySpace and really started creating a network, really started creating a fan base like on MySpace, and then they was like, man, why are you on this like kids thing? Why are you on this kids like not an app, but this kids website or teenager website, right? But then somebody broke it down. He's getting the attention of teenagers, what eventually will become adults, which will become older people, and he's like, because he's doing that with this younger crowd, as people who might be in their 30s and 40s and 50s get older, like 20 years from now, don't go out as much. The kids who are 14, 15, right, and they get 20, or they get 20, 30, 40, they're just going to age with them and always be fans and stuff like that. And then people are doing like Halo videos from it too. Now you're incorporating one of the hottest games in the world and on Xbox, which is Xbox to a whole nother level, and incorporating with his stand-up, and you'd be like, oh shoot, I love Dane Cook. And you'd be like, why you love Dane Cook? Because I used to play Halo all the fucking time, and I like his stand-up, so it's like a constant memory, like this logged in, like, oh shit, I used to watch him all the time because when I was playing Halo, they was making this dope stuff, so it's constantly in your mind. So when he comes to your town, even though he's not super huge as he used to be, right, now he's doing, you'll still go out and see him. He can still maybe not pack out like Chase Center or like whatever they call the arena in Oakland, but he can still do tons of theaters and then sell them out because his core audience, who was 15 or teenagers now they're 35 with kids, and I'm still gonna go because Dane's back on the road. I gotta see what he's up to now because he's like older now, but he's still dope. Because I still remember when I was a teen, it was like looking up to your idol, like, oh shit, I get to meet him. Oh shit, the meet and greet is only like this much. Like, oh fuck yeah, I get to see him now. So
did you hear what happened to him?
No.
His brother was his accountant and took all his money. That's why he disappeared. His brother literally gutted him for everything right after he did that movie with Jessica Simpson.
Damn.
Yeah.
Employee of the month?
Yeah. After Employee of the Month, his brother, they got into some fight, and his brother took all of his money, and he's been fighting legal battles since then to get it back. That's why he hasn't been around. Yeah. Crazy, dude.
That's crazy as hell. That's when family, like, that's how you know, like, sometimes like money will tear apart families a lot of times. You see it like when somebody passes away, like that people become super greedy and stuff like that, always want the money aspect, and then it's just like, yo, we family. And it hurts more because like we're supposed to be close. We're supposed to bond. We're supposed to be super tight. Like, and then money like brought fuck. That's crazy too, because like Employee of the Month. Also, I remember what was the other? I remember my best friend.
Good Luck Chuck.
Good Luck Chuck. Good Luck Chuck. Yeah, that was the one I was thinking about. Good Luck Chuck, and then My Best Friend's Girl or something like that was like another like movie that it was all like okay,
tough.
Yeah. They was all like okay, but it's like you finally start to do stardom, and then all that money's taken out. Like he sold out Madison Square Garden twice, which is like unheard of at the time, and he's stealing money from that. Like, and then you're doing like world tour, like that is super hard to like imagine. Like, that's like the betrayal. Like, damn, like that is. Fuck, I can't even imagine that. That's yeah.
No, it's messed up. It's really sad to hear, and like, cause he just dropped off.
Yeah,
he was doing really well.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna ask you, did you have a MySpace? I missed it entirely.
Yes, I had a MySpace. Yeah.
Okay, I had a girlfriend who had a MySpace, and that was like I saw her page once.
It was a 22-year-old chick he was in love with.
No. This girl was a year younger than me at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How did she have one and you didn't?
I wasn't into that. I was really slow to adopt technology till I got to college.
Okay.
I was a total I played video games. Yeah. But like the whole concept of social media was very weird to me. I'm like, I don't want people to know what I'm doing.
It wasn't even social media then. It was just.
But even then I was like, why would I just post stuff about me online? That was like, what? It wasn't until like Facebook that everybody had one. And I was like, oh, I won't have friends if I don't start doing this. But yeah, there was no like, I can express myself online. I was like, I don't want anyone to know what the fuck I'm up to.
Well, yeah. At my school, like MySpace was like a huge popular thing. All the popular people had MySpace, stuff like that. Or like the top 8 was like a huge thing. Like, oh, like let's see who's in a top 8, or like we figure out like if somebody's going through it because initially they would be 1, like their boyfriend or girlfriend would be 1, and then move them to like 8 or move them out of your top 8. Like moving somebody out of your top 8 was a huge deal. Like that was like super big. I remember people had like top 4s, top 8s, and when it was like really big, you had like a top 32. So like all these different people. So that was like how people like engage, like if things is going rocky. Like nowadays, it's just like chicks posting like hella inspirational quotes, know your worth, make sure that you are the best person in the world and things like that. Like if he's not there for you, he doesn't love you and things like that. And he'd be like, "Hey, you good? Like you and your
or
boyfriend
if you're toxic,
good?
You go fish on,
yeah,
baby.
yeah." Or you go from or. Or like how like
Daddy
a chick
going fishing.
Daddy going fishing. Or like when like a chick has like let's say like a few hundred pictures and all of a sudden she goes down to 1 or none or something like that, and it's just like a quote or something like that. And it's just them. Or like you just notice like, hey, she used to have hella picture of her dude. Why she ain't got no pictures of her dude right now? You're like, oh shit. And it's like from like 200 to just 20 pictures, and it's just like her. And like I said, they got a kid together. It's just her and the kid and stuff like that. It's like, I will love you forever. And like a new post, it's like always like I forgot who I was or some stuff like that. Like that's what the
new hair, dye their hair, and then go.
That was
I'm in my villain era.
Yeah, that was a top 8. Like all that, and it'd be like, but it was funny because people will shift it like daily. Like some of the people shifted like daily, and they're like, "Oh snap, they really going through it." Like how you know? Because they was 1, now they like 8, but they about to go to 6. They might get back together. I remember it was funny. Like if you was in the top 4, they'd be like, "Okay, yeah, I might be in good standing." Like little stuff like that. Like I remember a girl got mad at me that my best friend was number 1, and she was like 3. She's like, "I'm supposed to be 1," and I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "Because I should be 1. I'm your girl," and I'm just like, "Because you're making this a big deal, I won't move you to 1." I was like, "You need to earn that." She was like, "Well, you're number 1 on mine." I was like, "Let me see." Pull it up. I wasn't. Her best friend was number 1. And I was like, see, that's why I didn't do it. Because I saw that your best friend was number 1. So I was like, it's okay for best friends to be number 1. I was like, I'm not going to play in this. You're number 1 on my page. And if I move you, people like wondering what's going on. Because people really come up to you. Hey, why did you move such and such out of your top 5 or your top 8?
Yeah, see, I would overhear these conversations and I was like, I don't want to be involved in any of this.
Yeah.
If I'm not on it, then I can't know where I sit with people. Yeah. I'd rather not know where I'm at with people.
I spent so much time on MySpace too, and it wasn't even that much to do on there. Like literally, it was go to other people's page, listen to whatever music was on their page. I remember specifically for me, I would just always customize my page and have it look dope, and then I would put like a dope players jerseys on there. Like I remember I had Roy Williams from the Lions, Mike Williams who been the bus. Then I like Barry Sanders like throwback jersey. And it's like, you a Lions fan? I was like, nah, I just like these different like because it was like the throwback jersey era, like have a dope jersey. So I was looking for like Georgetown because I had like that jersey. Then I remember I had like tons of videos on my page. I had a Cameron video. I had like this one called Ray Cash, like just all this different stuff. But because my video, my page has so much stuff on it, I would shut people's like pages down or like their MySpace was like, yo, I can't go to your page anymore. I was like, why not? It was like, because it like my computer can't handle everything that's loading.
Wow.
So it was shut down. And so I would just go back all the time. I could never go to your page. I was like, hell yeah. And then I remember like, it's like my title. I'll put like a quote. I wouldn't put my name. It was like all want something to do. All want something to do. All want something to be, not something to do, or something like that. And it was like an inspirational quote. I remember I heard it from.
Were you going through a breakup?
No. No, I just thought it was dope. It was Todd Christensen had this. All want something to be, not something to do. And it was like from like some Shakespearean person. He was like, he speak like very eloquently and stuff like that. And I just thought it was just a dope thing to put instead of my name. Like everybody else got their name. I got a dope quote. And that was just like me, like the little notes on Instagram now. Like I just thought this would be like a dope thing to have. It was like, what that mean? And then like that was like a conversation started. Like I see you change your name. Like what that mean? I was like, oh, all someone wants something to be, not something to do. I took it as like, I don't want to just play football. I don't want to just do this. I want to be a professional athlete. I want to be great. I want to be this kind of a thing. And then I would start thinking of like with school. Like I don't want to just do school, or just I don't want to just like go like I'm just doing school or whatever. Like I'm trying to be a a Cal graduate. I'm trying to be a lawyer. I'm trying to be a football. Like, so I always took it as that. Like, this quote is saying, like, or versus, you know, I don't want to just have a job. I don't want to just like do a job or something like that. I want to have a career. So that's how I always took it as. Like, it was a thing where it was that. If it was, I don't want to just do this to do this. Like, I'm just doing this, you know, it's time. I'm just killing time. I'm just doing this to kill time. And I'm trying to be something. I'm trying to be great. Like, I always feel like being something was something that you really, like, was like a real aspiration, was like a real career goal. So it was something like that. It was more than just like, I'm just working. Like, no, I'm working down here. My career is this. My career is this now. My career is that. Like, I'm really doing this kind of a thing.
Does stand-up feel that way sometimes? That you're just working? I see some guys that are at like your level or the next level up, and I think it looks like there goes through a phase like when you're just working the road and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you're doing shows. You're like, you've met celebrities. You're doing that. Does it always feel like progress, or sometimes does it feel like you have to go like, oh, I need to be doing X, Y, and Z to really go to that next level?
So, like, yeah, it feels like sometimes progress. Like, I know specifically, like, a thing that I don't want to just be like an open micer. I want to be on shows. And it was like, fuck, I don't want to just be on these shows. I don't want to just be doing like bringer shows. I want to actually like be on the show and not have to bring people. Like, oh shit, I don't want to be the first person on the show. Like hosting is me. I want to be like later in the show, because I mean, if you're later in the show, that means you're good. Oh, I don't want to just be like later in the show. I want to feature. You know, like, okay, like, I don't want to just be a feature. I want to be a headliner. Like, oh, I don't want to just be like a headliner. I'm making money. I want like just make like, oh, here's like little, like, I don't want to be a headliner just doing 20 minutes. I'm just like, I don't want to close out. I want to be the headliner. And then like now it's like, okay, I want to be the headliner, but I also want to be on the road. You know, I want to like, not only do I want to be on the road, I want to make this like amicable while I'm not losing money. Like, oh, I don't want to just like be doing road trips. I want to be flying. I don't want to just be flying. I want to be, sometimes you fly and sometimes you back to the host of the feature, right? I don't want to just be featuring when I'm flying out. I want to be headlining. Oh, I don't want to just be doing like these random spots, like in like weird little spots. I want to be doing the clubs. So like, oh, I don't want to just be doing the clubs. I want to be doing theaters. Or like, let's say I don't want to be doing one-nighters at clubs. I want to have the weekend. Like, I don't want to just have the, like, okay, I don't want to just have like weekend dates. I want to sell them out or sell like a few out. I don't want to just sell out this. I want to start doing theaters. Oh, like I'm doing theaters. I don't want to just do this. Like, let's do like arenas.
Right. Now, each level of that, though, I almost feel like there's 3 or 4 things that like, especially at the open mic level, or you don't even realize you have to start doing if you really want to do that thing. So does it feel sometimes that you're like, maybe you're in the same level for a while and you're like, what is it? Like, what am I not doing? Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, when I was talking about social media earlier, I'm like, what is it that I'm not doing correctly? Like, why is this person's page blowing up and mine isn't? Like, I'm gonna be honest, I got super jealous. My homie brought it up because he was saying like, because sometimes I ask my parents or ask my family like, hey, can I see your phone real quick? Because I just want to check my Instagram. Because I won't go to like the certain parts like the analytics, stuff like that. Because normally when I used to do that, then it would stop. It would just like, please stop. Like, if like something was going good or something like that, and I went to my page, it would just stop there.
It is weird that it seems like once you check.
Yeah. It's like, it's a weird thing. Like, once you start checking more, then it starts like boom, 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 right? So I don't check it. So I use other people's phones to check how my Instagram is doing. Like, hey, can I borrow your phone real quick? I'm like, oh, like people just like, why don't you check your phone? I was like, because if I do this, it will stop. That's what pattern I've noticed. If I check it myself, it will stop.
So it wants you to post again.
Yeah, because it wants you to post again.
It wants to hit you with it.
So, right? So, because basically, I remember Marcelo Hernandez was telling me this. He was like,
Marcelo Hernandez.
Yeah, he was like, if something is going viral, leave it. Because when you start posting other stuff again, then the algorithm will stop that and make this other thing go. So you'll instead of letting it go as hard as it was. So it was crazy that I had 3 posts all doing well after the other. Like, the first one I posted started doing really well. And then I forgot I scheduled another one after that. And then because that first one went well, that one went well. So then they're like fighting and stuff like that. Then the first one kind of slowed down. And then the second one took off. That's the one that's like at 900,000, right? And then I was like, fuck, and then I forgot I scheduled something again, like I think a few days later. And then that one started doing well. And I didn't even think it was that good. But it started going viral and stuff like that. It started doing well. But then the second one was still going around. And the first one was still going well. So I had these 3 videos all going well at the same time. And then the second one kept going. And then all of a sudden, the third one, for some reason, just went like, boom, and just kicked it into overdrive. Because at first it was sitting in like 40,000. And I was like, okay, well, that's good. That's probably like it. And then something overnight just like clicked and just made it go, where it went from 40,000 to 90,000 the next day. And then it started going just boom, boom, and everybody. And then Bay Area accounts and here like started posting me on their page like, oh, so this is this and I'm like, oh shit, I'm getting here. Then the teaching one that kind of starts slowing down. Some teacher website or teacher Instagram reached out to me, hey, can we repost your clip on our page? I was like, hell yeah. They was like, do we need to sign anything? I was like, no. It's like, are you signing anybody? I was like, I'm not. I was like, can y'all just tag me? Or like, I like it better when a tag is cool, but I prefer it when you like collaborate because collaborate basically brings people in and then you're right there instead of like going down it right. So I was like wishing that I was like, can you collaborate? It's like, we'll tag you. And I'm just like, all right, okay, y'all don't want me to benefit or profit off y'all kind of thing. I get it, but it was like they don't want to. So yeah, so then that and then the video that I posted Thursday is doing real well too. So now I have 4 clips like all doing well, and I'm just like, okay, well, this is all doing well. So that's the standpoint where I'm headlining, I fly out of town too, but then how do I cut out the middleman to eventually where I can try to get a one-nighter and then also book, like bring people to the show. Cause that's the next thing too. Like it was funny cause, I hate doing bringer shows. Like, well, I don't do bringer shows no more, right? But the thing about it, once you get to like a level where you're like feature and like you can headline kind of stuff, like then you might like, hey, let me try to do a one-nighter thing. And then be like, how was it? I was like, it was cool, whatever. Now you become a bringer again in a sense, but it's more your brand is the bringer kind of a sense, which is funny to hear. Like I'm doing bringer shows. I got to bring 5 people. Now it's just like, now it's on me to bring 60 to 70 or 80 enough to make this profitable for you and the club. It's like a funny little other thing that
it is weird. I mean, I get the idea about bringer shows being like they shouldn't quote unquote exist, but as soon as I heard that, I was like, isn't that exactly Kevin Hart's doing a bringer show? Because everyone knows him. Granted, he didn't have to ask them.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're coming. Yeah. Like that's the idea.
And people use that as kind of like, well, Kevin Hart's a bringer. He brings all these people here, right? But then the real messed up thing about bringer shows, what people don't get, is like, well, you got to have a following, right? And people say that because the person booking the show doesn't have a following. Because if it was really a bringer show, then I wouldn't have to bring people to make your show hot.
Right.
And then I wouldn't have to have all these people come to your show to make it pop. And it becomes relying upon you bringing people here to make this show dope. And then instead of me getting all the profits for everybody who I brought here, I get a cut of the ticket sales and you make most of it. Like, hey, you get $3 per person or you get $5 per person, but the tickets are $20. So you make $15 off each person I brought. Let's say if I brought 10 people, that now I made 150 and you made, no, yeah, that's right, 15, and then you made 50. So 200, you got a $200 profit. I cut you 50 out of the 150 that I'm keeping.
We got like 12 minutes left. Do you want to talk about Kanye?
Oh, okay. So it's longer than that. So the reason I wanted to bring up Kanye because me and Utah are no longer talking on like a romantically kind of way. So like that was super sad for me. And then we could talk about it next episode because I'm just like super. Communication wasn't great, or like I felt like I was. Basically, I got caught on like chicks saw like me on a dating profile kind of a thing, right? And I remember I deactivated it, but it still said you can get messages from previous things, whatever. And I remember I drove out to see her, spent the whole day with her, and then and then she like I lost my phone at her house, and she come in like she picked up my phone, and she saw that I was on dating profile, got mad at me, and was just like, Corde, I felt betrayed, I felt like this other kind of stuff, right? So
were you guys exclusive? I don't know that I knew that.
And I feel like that was one of the communications that we never really talked about specifically. Because if we were like exclusive, and I probably should have asked her like we were exclusive beforehand, I wouldn't have been on dating apps, whatever. And the funny thing about dating apps that she doesn't know that I never really explained to her is that I get on dating apps, but I expect no matches. Like I'm on dating apps and it's kind of like more of a routine than I'm actually trying to meet people on. But because I met her on a dating app, I think she might have seen it differently. But it was just like something that really would just occupy time. I wasn't really going out looking for somebody because I had somebody. But it was kind of like a thing that was just part of my day. Yeah, like, so, like, you asked me if, like, we were exclusive, and I remember she saw the dating app, and I'm like, I didn't know we were exclusive as well, but then also, like, I got on dating apps daily just like it's a whatever thing. Like that wasn't like something I was like really invested in. But like you said, like we matched on a dating app, so it might have seemed more to her. But I go on dating apps, just it's part of my routine. It's not something like I'm actually looking to like meet with somebody because I got somebody, right? And so like the Tinders, the Bumbles, and things like that, like it's just part of like, okay, just swipe, no matches, stuff like that. And I was just thinking, I was like, why am I always on this? And it was kind of seemed like something that I was addicted to that I couldn't get off of. Like I was like, am I addicted to this, right? But I'm just like, I'm on these things, but I'm not trying to match with people. But because I've been on them so long, they're just part of my daily routine. And I guess I wanted to explain that to her, like, yo, I'm not on these apps to meet with somebody because dating apps in itself is like tiring and exhausting. I remember every time I would get on them and like try to swipe and I'm not matching with nobody. I'm like, why am I on this? I got somebody who I really care about. I got somebody who I really like. Like, why am I? And then it was a thing like me, like, yo, why am I on these things? Like, I'm wasting my time. I could be editing videos. I could be watching something. I could be getting better. So I'm like, why am I? And so it was like weird. I was like, I'm not trying to replace a chick who I like with someone on here. I was like, wow. And it was like a self-reflection. I'm like, why is this happening? And the only app that I like really like thought that I probably won't get off of, not because like I don't want to get off of, like, cause I want to be on this dating app, you know, like, right, was Tinder. So I'm still trying to figure out how does Tinder. I have a subscription to Tinder that I've been trying to cancel for 2 years. But I switched I switched 3 phones since that subscription. So if for some reason it keeps getting lost on how to cancel it, right? So I'm on here trying to figure out when it replenishes, like what date, and it comes up on like my Gmail. I get it like, oh, thank you for just a Tinder subscription. And I'm like, I'm trying to cancel this in all caps, and they say like, well, look, what's the date or what's the thing that like paid? I'm like, I don't know. I had an Android, then I switched another Android, and now I had an iPhone, and now I'm back to a Droid. So I had to figure out whatever thing, because I try to do it via like the Apple Store, and it's like, oh, Apple just like, oh, the store's not working right now. I'm like, how the fuck, Tinder? How the fuck is the store not working? And like once I cancel that shit, I'll get off it because I'm just like, I have no luck on Tinder. I'm never good on Tinder. I never really liked Tinder like that. I would just use it for like, if I was like in a low point, like during 2020 or something, like, let me see if I could just match with hella different people and stuff like that, right? And then I would cancel it before the end of the month. But I think Google Play said like, oh, if you click this, you'll get points or whatever. And it just made me automatically renew the subscription even when I didn't want to. I'm like, fuck, yo, this is money coming out of my pocket over the course of a year. And I was like, I'm not trying to be on this kind of a thing, right? So I never wanted to like break us up because over like a dating app because I'm like with her. And it was always kind of weird too because like I really wanted to think like what she thought when she saw that dating app. Like what was your thought that I was doing? Because she found out after I drove to see her, after like I'm hanging out with her family and stuff like that, after I'm like chilling with like her kids and her daughter and stuff like that, right? And then like how we know, like I sometimes after the podcast, but hey, let's get this podcast out the way because I'm about to drive to Santa Maria, like, or good luck in Santa Maria because people we know that like I really care about. I'm about to go drive to see her, right? So I'm like, to me driving out to see you at the drop of a dime or like planning my day around us being together, that's me really like putting effort into it. But what did you think I was doing by having the dating app thing? Because I don't really care for dating apps like that. Like I cared about you. Like you was moving to Utah, I was trying to figure out a way, should I move there? Like I know
you were about to turn Mormon.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I was like turn Mormon for this chick, or like I'm like looking at like, okay, there's like 4 clubs out there. I got a homie who's out there. Maybe I can sleep on his couch. Okay, well I don't know the things for teaching out there, but I could probably like figure out a way to try to get like maybe subbing or something like that. Then I'm like, okay, what area would I like literally like I was invested mentally, subconsciously with this woman. Like I remember I went to her house, right, and I'm just like, this is how I knew I'm getting older too. I'm like, she need a new lawn. I need this grass cut. I'm gonna come cut this grass. And then I started envisioning myself coming down there doing yard work for her, getting there early so I could do yard work. I was like, damn, her backyard is toe up. I gotta go mow the lawn. I gotta go. I was like, I need some weed whackers. I'm planning mentally to help fix up, make it just easier for her on like this, like the stuff that like a man does, like house duties that my dad used to always wake me up on Saturday. Well, not wake me up, but he'd make me do like Saturdays. Like we gotta do some yard work. Not knowing why, I'm like, Dad, why you can't do it yourself? And I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, I gotta do this. This is me contributing to like this. This was how I was thinking with her, for her, like for our long-term future. like I told her, I was like, hey, I just want to let you know, I've been thinking about moving to Santa Maria. That's where she lived. Or she's like, well, we should probably move somewhere else because I'm about to probably move away from this area. And then I was thinking, I was like, because also I think she was like testing me with little stuff. She's like, yeah, I mean, cool, you talk about your family, but you never gonna leave the Bay. I was like, what? Because I plan on leaving the Bay soon. I would have left it already, but then family and stuff that needed me to stay and things like that. I was like, I plan on moving to LA because that's closer to you, or being close enough to LA where I can still see you, where it's not a big difference. Like, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be in SoCal so I can see her maybe 2 to 3 times a week, where I can spend every weekend with her. Like, it was like all these like other stuff. I was like, I can't wait to move because I'm gonna be so much closer to you. We can build our future, stuff like all this other kind of stuff. So yeah, it was crazy, and I'm just like, damn, I'm still kind of dealing with this like super bad. Also, you know, it's funny, like, you know how like the thing, like after you break up with a chick, you know how you get over them, you get like with a new one, or you like fuck hella chicks. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do none of that. Like, I was open none of my dating apps. I was like, this showed me that like I really cared about this woman. I was like, fuck, yo, like I want to like, or you know, oh, maybe I could hit up this chick and we probably. I'm like, I didn't want to do none of that. I was just sitting in my room. We had some videos and we watched some rom-coms because, you know, you're looking for like signs or stuff like that to move on, and everything is about like, you know, if they let her go but she comes back, and kind of a thing like that, or like maybe this is for the better, like maybe you moving on, or like, you know, you really care for somebody because you letting them go because you really care about them, you want them to be happy even though you're gonna suffer, and it's like all this like type shit, right? Which leads me into Kanye, right? Because Kanye, the 808 and Heartbreak City was like a super emotional one, because I remember like I had bought it the day after a chick, not even a day, an hour or two after a chick who I was trying to talk to for like a long period of time kept giving me the run around. And then this dude called her and she was like, I'm gonna make time for you. Like, I was trying to hang out with her for like 5 weeks. And then we finally did hang out. It was a good ass time, but like she would always lead me on, and then like it would be moments of clarity. And it was like a moment of clarity where I was also like 19, 20 at the time too. So like I don't want to make it seem like, oh, you talking about this one chick, and then like, so right. So also, this 808 and Heartbreaks was still a CD. I bought a CD. That's what I'd say. And I was working security at the time, right? So, hanging out, really cared for her. First chick I ever loved. And then, as I was about to like call off from work, she received a phone call from this dude, I guess, while she was going MIA. And she said, I'll make time for you. No, don't worry about it. I'll make time for you. I'll make time for you, right? And I'm just like, bitch, I am right here next to you, and you in my car. Answer another dude's phone call, like, who's that? Oh, that's I haven't seen that much. He just keeps finding like a way to come back into my life. And I was like, are you serious right now? He's like, so I've been trying to hang out with you for the last 5 to 6 weeks, and you couldn't make time. This dude calls you, you about to drop me? She's like, no, I'm not about to drop you. We can hang out for a little bit. I was like, oh, so is there a time limit on how much longer we can hang out? I was like, because you leaving soon. I was like, so you just about to drop me or whatever, figure out when it's over and you about to go hang out with him? I mean, and I was just like, all right. I was like, instead of being like this little person like your shoestring or something, I was just like, all right, cool. So this is done. This is over. I don't want to talk to you no more. I don't want to be friends. I don't want nothing to do with you. It's like, what, you gonna do that? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I've been trying to hang out with you for 6 weeks. 6 weeks. This dude I've called you, I've texted you, no response. This dude calls you, you answers while I'm right here, and then you yelling that you're going to make time for him. How you think I feel? And why would I want to be your friend when I care about you so much? That don't make no sense. And then I try to get her kiss goodbye. She's like, you can't tell me all that and try to kiss me goodbye. I was like, all right, well, cool then. And then I think I dropped her off at Guitar Center. What? That's where her sister was. So I dropped off at Guitar Center in El Cerrito, which is funny because that place doesn't exist no more. They got like apartments now there. So I dropped her off there. Then I went into work and I bought the Kanye West 808 and Heartbreak CD. And the funny thing about it is a song on that CD called Heartless. It was a single. Like, how could you be so like? And everybody was like, damn, so you must have hated that song. And I was like, nah, I thought Heartless was a dope song. It had a dope beat. It was super catchy. I was like, how could you be so right? Like, I love that song. That wasn't my my like song that hurt me. Mine was, it was called Welcome to Heartbreak. It was Welcome to Heart. It was the intro. It was about like 6 minutes. There's another song like RoboCop was another one. And it was like a few songs on that CD that I was just like, damn. It was like one called The Coldest Winter, which I had to skip because it just became like dark. And I was like, okay, so that whole album. So I bought that album and I had it. I was driving like this like security truck. I played that the entire shift. I had an 8-hour shift. I played it the entire shift, and it was super crazy. And my homie was like, "Hey, you slapping that Kanye?" I was like, "Yeah, it's good." I'm like, "Yeah." And then that's why I want to talk about Kanye, because like stuff like this, I always look for like emotional thing to kind of get me through it, kind of a thing. And I remember Kanye West 808 and Heartbreak was like one to get me through it. And I was like, I love that album to death, even though I don't love Kanye like that no more. But no Diddy, like that was like something that got me through it, and just remind me that like when you like really care about somebody and they like leave, you gotta like listen to something to help you get you through like this sad moment. Like I was listening to like a lot of Bobby V recently about like stuff like I See You in Another Life, or like a bunch of other stuff like, or Rear View, and like kind of other stuff like basically like come back to me, don't leave me kind of a things. So yeah. Where we at? Okay, yeah. I'm cool off that. So this has been another episode of the Corde Snell Show. Hey, did you get your hour of Corde this week? Hopefully this wasn't super sad. How I wrapped it up with. Also email us at thecordesnellshow@gmail.com if you got any questions, comments. If you misunderstood what I said, Kevin Hart's 15 Minutes of Fame, because I did not say that, because Kevin Hart is one of my idols and I want to be just like him. If you want to like know more about like breakups, something like that, or how to get over stuff, or you just want like more comedy advice, because when Jared was talking about where do I feel, like where do you stay, like what's my next plans, check out the email us there. Also follow my Instagram at Corde Majo Day. Jared, what's yours?
Jared M. Camacho, all one word.
Okay, and then Noah, what's yours?
Noah with 2 H's, Guerrero.
Okay, cool. Like follow all of us, listen to the podcast, follow us on YouTube. Like this video, subscribe to the podcast, share this video with your friends, share this episode with your friends, and then also if you like this clip, please listen more, like, subscribe, and then you listening to the Corde Snell Show, and we're out.